Hey listeners, I'm Melissa Kepler. Welcome to our podcast about all things lifestyle, business, and content, how to navigate through each, and the important role your mental and physical health plays in all of it. So, let's talk about it. Jennifer Gordon.
Hey girl.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Let's Talk About It, which I'm very excited to have you here. You were the number one person on my list to have on this show just because you and I have been manifesting all our dreams together side by side for a very long time, at least over the last 2 years.
Oh yeah.
We've been just talking about doing all the things. So Jen and I met in, I think you said 2014.
2014, yeah.
So a very long time ago. We met very randomly through social media because Jen was subletting her room and I needed a place to stay. Someone I knew had shared it and I was looking for somewhere to move to due to whatever situation I was in at the time. Couldn't tell you. I've moved a million times. I've lived a million lives. So
Same.
I couldn't tell you why I needed to move at the time.
We were just moving.
But it was just, It was one of my moves.
Yep.
And so I reached out to Jen on Facebook, I believe it was, and we met up. We had a cocktail. We talked about the place. Showed me the house. I was like, great, in, done and dusted. We stayed connected on social media for a while after that. Really just casual interactions with each other. Yeah. Maybe like a liking of a story or a post, maybe a comment here and there, but continuing to watch each other's journeys through life. And then last year, I got married to Steven and I reached out to Jen, who is a photographer and does really moody weddings, which I love. I love a moody, dark aesthetic. And so Jen was my wedding photographer last year.
Yay.
And yeah, it was just so great. And then like over the time of us kind of planning things, like she did my engagement shoot and planning for the wedding and things like that, we just kind of reconnected.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And just clicked.
Reconnected, clicked, and the friendship grew a lot stronger, and we've been fully like text harassing each other and
hyping each other up,
because
leaning into all the delusion. If we have a crazy
100%.
idea, we're like, no, you can totally do that. Like,
no, literally,
why not?
No one. I don't think I have a bigger fan, and I don't think Jen has a bigger fan.
Yeah, no, this is our hype crew.
I fully believe that Jen can do absolutely anything. If she told me she was going to jump off the top of my roof right now and fly, I'd be like, as you should.
Likewise. I'd be like, no, but let's talk about your landing. Do you go soft knee or are we rolling out of it?
It's ball heel. You have to land ball heel and bend at the knees, so we don't want any shin splints. But that's kind of just our vibe, is like we're full on girl power.
Yes.
And so that reconnection has led us to a lot of kind of what we're doing now, one being this podcast in general.
Yeah.
This is something I've been telling her I've been wanting to do for a long time. And when I tell you it took the past 2 years to come to fruition, just because I just like things to feel right. I don't like to rush into things. I really do like,
Same.
I believe that I can do the things, but I like to take the time and energy to really plan it out. And just it wasn't the right exact time. It wasn't the right space. I wasn't in the right, there was a lot of things around that. And so we'll dive into that in a little bit, because I want to talk to Jen about our passion projects. And the number one thing I want to talk about, obviously, is your photography business, because that is really the reason we reconnected.
Yeah.
And a big part of this podcast for me is like, I want to discuss lifestyle and business and content creation. And a lot of the guests that I'm going to be having on are, entrepreneurs and business owners and things like that, and just letting people hear the starting from scratch and the starting over and kind of corporate America versus doing your own thing, and just hearing the different versions and experiences of what that looks like. So I know for you started in corporate America.
I did.
And so just tell me a little bit about that journey of what you were doing and how we got to where we are now.
Yeah. So I always joke that photography and I were first loves, and then we just needed to break up to go find ourselves.
You took a break
and make sure that we were meant for each other,
Yeah.
So I went to college for photography. I've always been an artist, but when I got out of school, the only job I could find, Instagram was just starting out then.
Okay.
Not to age myself.
I know. I was like, oh, okay. Like, you told me something I didn't know.
Right. Weddings were not the tea that they are now. They were not that girl. And so I went into preschool picture day photography, which was literally a living nightmare. And I made more money working as a cocktail waitress 2 nights a week than I did working full-time traveling for.
That's art in general.
Quite literally. Not to sidebar, but my biggest motivation in life is when I was in college, someone said to me, "Oh, so you're getting an art degree? So you're doing like a 4-year orientation to work at Starbucks?" That's what someone said to me. And I was like, "Oh, I'm going to find you one day."
It's funny though, because I had Noelle here on the last episode, and she also does photography, and we were talking about, she was like, I didn't technically need to go to college to do what I'm doing now, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of went down on a little bit of a tangent of, I don't believe in college unless you're an architect or an engineer or it's some kind of medical field. To me, college is a beautiful thing if you have the means to do it.
Yes.
And if you do genuinely require in medicine or something of that nature, you need to go to school.
Yes.
But other than that, I think when it comes to trades and skills and art and things like that, that comes down to just patience and training. Yeah. We went down that little little rabbit hole of conversation. So
I do think my college education helped me like learning about types of art and the conceptualism and different traits to it. But no, I completely freaking agree with you.
Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I think there's a lot that I've learned training as a dancer, but I learned more as a professional in the field. And that, you know what I mean? Already as the professional, I feel like I learned so much more than when I was training in educating other people, in being the teacher in the room, and being a mentor.
Totally different than like, okay, now I know how to work my camera, or now I know how to have an eye or colors or things like that. But now how do I deal with a wedding party of 35 people and all them?
They don't teach you those life skills.
Yes, exactly. But after preschool picture day photography, I had a friend let me know that they were in sales, and I was like, oh wow, a salary? That sounds great.
Yeah.
So I quickly pivoted to sales, and it took over all my life because I'm a workhorse and a workaholic. And I always just wanted to keep being the best and the best. And I did get ranked out of several thousand people company as a top sales rep in the year, was like one of their rising stars, quickly went to sales management, all kinds of stuff. That taught me more than I ever learned in college, because that taught me like customer service and relations. But I was miserable. And I was making bankroll. Like, I was killing it as a sales rep. We could be living the dream, my husband and I, not stressing about a damn thing.
Right.
But I was so unhappy. So I finally, like, 2020 hit, and I was watching all these creators come out, and I'm like, if I just pick up that camera again, what could I do now with the platforms that are available with social media and all this stuff and everything? So I came up with a game plan in 2022. I saved up money while planning my own wedding, which was totally delusional because I'm like spending all this money on my own wedding. And then I just up and quit my job. I didn't have a single job on the books. I didn't have any clients, anything booked. I just offered free sessions to people and was like,
just get the exposure.
Someone take a chance on me. Let me build my portfolio and like, let's go from here. But yeah, that was about a good 8.5 years later.
That's so crazy. And now look at you.
And now
very successful.
We're 3 years in full time since I up and quit. And I haven't gone back yet. So I take that as a win.
That's a huge win.
Yes.
I mean, your business is booming. You are incredible. I feel like you're doing weddings nonstop. And I love the vibes. I know you're now looking to expand on that and get into more of branding, like brand photography, which if you look at the cover art for our podcast, that photo was taken by Miss Jen. So what's like the dream?
The dream is to do a hybrid.
Okay.
So the dream is to have Jennifer Sill photography, weddings. I really like to there's some photographers out there that want to take upwards of 30 weddings, even more a year. I really like to be involved with my couples, know about their day, and make it an experience for them. That's their wedding day. Like, I don't want them to feel like they were just another checklist item. So I want to take on like a good healthy amount of weddings, anywhere from 10 to maybe 20 max a year, and then also work with getting super creative with other entrepreneurs. So I'm starting a second company called House of Sill, and that will be more of like an agency vibe where we literally will take like your colors, your brand voice, and curate a photography experience to then draw in their ideal clients.
Yeah.
A lot of my sales were commercial based, not residential. So I feel like I already understand how businesses work.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think being able to have both worlds will be amazing.
Yeah. And then you also have a little more opportunities for more creativity.
Yes.
And so it's cool that you would be able to have that a little bit more when you reach out to brands and work with them specifically. And what I love about that specific revenue option of branching out is the collabs between artists doing that. So like you're looking for graphic designers, looking for hairstylists, makeup artists, like all of that jazz, you know, stylists like for clothing and things like that. I think there's just so much potential there, like networking wise and working with other creatives and inspiring one another and being inspired by each other, which Jen and I also do for each other a lot is try to inspire each other and push each other to those goals. So I think that's so cool and it's so exciting. And I've already said that I would like to hire Jen as my personal photographer for the rest of my life.
And I'm game.
I just don't, I don't have the funds for that at the moment, but one day.
When you do.
But one day it's going to happen.
Yes.
Just, you believe me. When did we meet up for drinks and dinner? I want to say has it been a year? It's been, no, because it was after my wedding.
It was after your wedding. I think it was
feels
last
like forever
spring.
now.
I think it was April. It was before we did the barless shoot, and we decided we were talking all about it, and we're like, let's just meet up and have some martinis and see where this goes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we discussed House of Sil back when we had our little martini night, and I had also discussed barless, my dreams. And I don't think I've ever said this to you. You've told me like, oh, I have a mentor. You use a mentor and you have someone who you reach out to. I have always looked at you as sort of a mentor for my path and the direction I'm going. Well, just like knowing, you know, I knew your history with like having the 6-figure corporate America job and deciding to take that leap of faith on yourself. And even though you knew it was going to be a slow build, you made a decision that you were going to choose yourself.
Yeah.
And you told me that so long ago. And that's like always been such an inspiring story to me because that's always sort of been my dream.
Yeah.
I am a creative through and throughout. I love to tinker. I love to edit.
You're
love
so
to
good at it too.
put things together. Thank you. I love to dance. I love art. And sometimes people tell me like I have too many eggs. I'm not niche enough. Or some people think that stepping away from dance in the capacity that I have has been like, well, that's your niche. I'm like, no, that's one of my art styles.
Some of the most successful people have had like 10 businesses fail,
and
or they've gone through like 10 different options.
And this is something that I know that I want to have a conversation about when I do like my little audio topics of discussion. One of the things that I really want to talk about is that like financial diversification, because we're always telling creators that they need to have a niche, especially when like posting on their TikToks and their social medias and things like that. But at the same time, if you look at famous, rich, successful influencers and celebrities, they've got face wash, they've got makeup brands, they've got clothing lines,
got tequila.
They've got tequila. Yeah. They've got, and not just that they being sponsored by these brands, they own their own company. So if like Lord forbid Lady Gaga can't sing anymore, guess what? She's good. She's
got makeup.
She's good.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? She's an actress. She's done makeup. But that's the thing. So many celebrities and influencers out there look for ways to get their hands into as much as possible. And for me as a creative, I think the same thing. People wonder, with me starting Barless, you know, I'm not attacking it as strongly as I should be. And I'm like, I'm doing it at the pace that I need to grow it the way I want to grow it. I'm still curating it behind the scenes before I really put myself out there. But also that is what I call a passion project. It's not my career. My career to me is just being a creator in general. And so I want to have the conversations. I want to do a podcast. I want to continue streaming and raising money for charity. I love doing body art and makeup. And so I don't want to put myself in a corner and say, this is all I can do.
100%.
And so, that's something like as an artist, which is why I said I love the branding idea and why you've inspired me as the branching off. And we've had so many networking ideas and that I hope that you and I over time can host an event of some sort.
I would love
of like
that.
major proportions.
I would
of
love that.
Bringing in artists of all kinds.
Yeah.
We definitely talked about something where we're a networking group.
Yeah.
Where
of
we just pull
women.
like-minded women, where if someone's looking for a makeup artist, they just post in the group. Or if they're looking for a photographer or a dancer or a singer, whatever the case may be. That's like my big picture dream. Yeah. Of being a voice for creators. That's always been my dream.
I love it. I love it so much. And also like you taking your time with things. I've been working on House of Sil for over a year now. And it's funny because with Jennifer Sil, I just up and quit my job because I've done weddings before that and I also had an understanding. But this, I feel like I want it to be more elevated and agency like. And I'm taking my time, and that's
Right.
okay. Because I don't want to launch something and have it not be up to the standards I would want as a client.
sure.
And that's how you feel too.
Yeah,
like
100%.
you have an expectation, and that's okay.
With that, when I finally made the decision to follow in your footsteps of leaving corporate America, which was not an easy decision,
Which I was
right?
so proud of you.
There was thank you so much.
Yeah.
There's a lot that went into that, right? There
It's
was
emotional.
and it still is. You know, we're at what 3 months. 3 months since
That's
I've left.
nothing. It's going
That's
to take a year
nothing.
where you're not like sick to your stomach.
That's absolutely nothing. There was so many things that went into leaving that job behind, but I knew I always wanted something for myself. I always wanted something that was mine, and I could never do that no matter how far I climbed the company. I loved that place.
Yeah.
I loved everyone that I worked with, but that wasn't mine. I was always continuing to work my ass off for other people. And while I was happy to do so because that was a family and a company that I believe so passionately about, it what was my 5-year, 10-year, 20-year plan? Like, where did I see myself in the long run? And I also kind of the same thing. I wasn't as happy as I knew I could be because nothing about it was creative.
Yes. I got to a point where I'm like, there's always this little voice in the back of my head that was like, you're not supposed to be working for someone else. I felt like I was like shrinking my soul and dimming my light. And it's like almost like being in like a toxic relationship in a sense. I just had to kind of take that chance. And same with you. And it's emotional and it's scary. And I still some days look back and I'm like, what the hell did I do? But I remember going 9 months without getting paid anything and was door dashing. And I literally texted my husband, but I've never been happier.
You know,
and it was weird.
It's so strange because this conversation, if you're listening, watching this, is not to say that there's anything wrong with having a job, having that security.
No.
That everyone is different. There are people who thrive in that routine of having a 9 to 5.
Not everyone has
steady.
the voice that's telling you you're supposed to be independent.
This is more so explaining that you can do the things that are really hard and you can follow through if you're feeling that 9 to 5 sort of routine is not for you and you want something a little more. It is possible. It's not going to be easy. We're going to dive into that in a little bit. Like, it's not going to be easy. But when I made that decision to leave, there was also, it wasn't just me anymore. I'm a newlywed. So I'm also having to have like really tough conversations with my husband about the fact that I no longer want, not that I no longer want to, but I'm not going to be able to physically contribute to our bills the way I could when I was working this full time. Mind you, now I have a lot more time back. So I do contribute to our relationship in ways that I wasn't when I did have the finances, because when I was working, I was gone all the time. I was working really long hours. When I would get home, I was still working. I would be from the morning, the moment I woke up to the minute I went to bed. I would get up at 6 a.m. to go to an exercise class. By the time I came out, prior to 7 a.m., I already had 5-6 text messages. It was just, I
remember texting with you, and there was a week you worked 7 days straight like that.
I've worked like 11 days straight in a row.
Yeah, and I was
I've
like,
done
you're
more
going
than that,
to make yourself have kidney stones. Like, you're going to be ill.
Yeah, it's exhausting. But not for lack of a love of doing it, but I had to think, okay, another reason to why I made the decision to step back was, yes, maybe I won't be able to financially contribute, but I'm also taking so much away from my marriage that I just entered into by being this busy all the time. And sitting down to dinner, but I've got my laptop open because I'm trying to make sure we can complete the sales for the day. Yep. There was just always something else. There was always something I had to do. And it wasn't always, could it wait? It couldn't. Depending on what it was. There were some things that, like, maybe I just got so used to doing them in the moment, and maybe I made myself that way and I didn't know how to turn back, because I did spend that time by myself where it didn't matter how much I worked. Yeah. And then there was also like being by yourself a lot easier to hustle and do
1,000%. So, because you don't have to shut it off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now that I don't have that type of routine of I'm still a hard worker, but I'm not a workaholic. And I think people understand that those are two very, very different things. It's about working smarter, not harder, right? Yeah. I do work hard, but it's not all consuming. And I make sure to have balance, and I make sure to get my exercise in, and I make sure that if after this podcast, I'm not going to immediately sit down and start editing it. I am going to go lay down and veg, maybe play a video game,
recharge.
You have to find ways to step away. So in leaving that industry, while it took away the financial stability that I had and my financial contributions to my relationship, it made me more present in my relationship.
Which that's priceless.
My house ends up being cleaner.
Yeah.
Things end up getting done a lot sooner than they would have normally. A lot of things don't get pushed off. There's a lot more time for myself. There's a lot more time for my husband. And before he was really doing a lot of the housework and stuff because he works from home and I was gone all the time. And so there's always give and take with any of these situations, and you just have to figure out what means more to you. I know it's like, easier said than done having the money versus not having the money.
100%.
I am a big believer, and I'll probably end up saying this on every single episode, of manifestation and the words that we say to ourselves out loud to each other. And so I'm a believer of the money will come.
Time, though, can't come back. That was the biggest thing to me. The money will return, the time won't. And when I jumped sales jobs, I left being a sales manager to go back into actually selling because I was teaching all these people how to sell. And I'm like, well, what if I could do that without 20 people hanging on to me? You know what I mean?
Right.
And even then, restarted back at a base salary, had to work up for 3 years. And then after I was the breadwinner too. So my husband and I had to have a deep conversation about that. But I realized again, yes, Jen, you took a 3-year step back before and look how much it amplified. You tripled your salary by taking that step back to go into commission. What if I take that step back for another maybe 5 years and see where growing my business can be, knowing how much I care and can put work into it. So the time, it's priceless.
It truly is.
Really priceless.
It truly is. Not to mention the amount of times I've had conversations with people who are like, oh, hey, I'm rooting for you. That's crazy. Good luck. That's awesome. But I could never, those kind of conversations.
Yeah.
I'd rather know. And maybe it doesn't work out. And then I have to find another job. But then I know.
Yes.
Versus that. I don't want to spend the rest of my life saying what if or regretting not taking the chance. So I'd rather know. And it also goes back to the conversation we segued away from of taking our time when people are like, hey, people are waiting. People are really excited about Barless. When are you posting these videos?
Yeah.
It took me till 37 years old to make this jump. What's a couple more months?
I'm not going to half-ass it. Yeah.
So if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. It's not to say that anything has to be perfect, because I will tell you nothing ever will be, especially when starting a business, starting a project, whatever it is you're diving into. It's got to be about 80% of the way, and then you just got to send it. And then as you go on, which is what we were talking about with the college versus being a professional in that field, you'll learn more and you'll be able to fix it and make it better and grow. And so one of my favorite things to do, it's like a little guilty pleasure of mine. If I have a creator that I like on YouTube,
okay,
and I like to watch a lot of YouTube because this is my interest. If you saw this room that we're sitting in right now, I love my tech. I love my video and audio compilations and all that jazz. So I like to watch some YouTube videos, and I like to watch YouTube videos of people who are doing things that I'm interested in also pursuing.
Yeah.
Not to copy them, not to hate on them. No reason other than it's inspiring.
Yep.
And I take pieces of what they do, I figure out what I can learn from that and how I can make it my own. And then I'll take a little piece of somebody else, and I'm not copying them. Again, I'm not copying what they're doing, but I'm like, I like that they do this. I would like to do something like that, but perhaps this way, and make it my own. So my guilty pleasure is I'll be watching a YouTuber that's really good. The lighting's killer. The editing is chef's kiss. And it's like bomb.com. And I'm like, let me see how long they've been going. And I will go back and I find their first video.
Wait, I do that with photography.
Do you?
Yes.
So I'll go back and I find the first video that they ever posted.
Yeah.
And oh my God, they were just a kid. Or oh my gosh, this was only 2 years ago. Everyone has to start somewhere. So feeling like, oh, I just don't have the means or the equipment or the room or whatever to do these things. You just have to make do with what you have. You work on it till it's good enough to start, which is where I'm at right now. I'm just trying to get things good enough.
And then you grow
to put out right. And I have enough experience in broadcasting, in streaming, creating, performing, that I'm not second guessing myself. I'm just taking my time. That's it. I'm just making sure that I like what I'm putting out there, as long as it's giving me pride, satisfaction.
100%. I completely agree. And it's like, you're going to see that growth. And it's so nice. If you think about every single one of us are doing life for the first time, and every single person.
That part, like really heavy on that part.
I know. And every single person started somewhere.
Yeah.
I hate when people are like, oh, I could never. And I'm like, well, they could never at one point too,
Right.
but they put in the work and the time. Have you ever seen Post Malone's first music video?
No.
It's one of my favorite things to think of. We'll have to watch it later. It's a hot mess express.
Really?
Yeah, and it's hilarious. And now look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually something I just saw similarly. Bad Bunny.
I
who
saw
was-
the Bad Bunny one.
The
They're
Bad
like,
Bunny
look at
concert.
Bad Bunny in
listen,
2016.
I'm Puerto Rican.
Benito.
I have family from Puerto Rico. I have family living currently in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico does not have a lot of money, right? So anyone coming from an existence living there does not have a lot of the means. There's only so
Absolutely.
much you're going to find on
Yeah.
on a small island.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Bad Bunny was playing like these tiny little venues.
The
It's like
style wasn't there yet.
his style was not there yet. Now I'm
who-
like, Benito, please.
For real. No, he's my freebie.
Is that your hall pass?
Yeah, it's my whole house.
So
Benito.
dope.
God.
So
love
yeah,
him.
like, but like everyone starts from somewhere, but
Yeah.
somewhere small, like out of nowhere. And you don't get to that point by giving up.
No, you get to that point
Trying, pushing through,
by trying,
not caring
and
what people think of
learning
you,
from your
unfortunately, is the
mistakes.
biggest one.
Yes.
Yes.
And also being humbled enough to be like, okay, I messed up. It's the people that are like, no, I know everything and I'm not willing to learn. Or if you try to give them productive feedback or constructive criticism, or just be like, hey, look, you made a mistake. And then they're just like, no, that's where you're like hurting yourself. Take it, listen, take it in. It sucks.
Yeah.
Scream about it to your spouse or whatever in private, but also someone's taking that time to share it, then try to learn from it. Try to see
Yeah.
what you can build, you know?
Yeah, I think it's important that we're always the student first.
1000%.
Always a
And
student first.
that was my main thing when I was leaving corporate America, is I was working for these companies that thought they were perfect. And when I would try to be like, well, I think we could do this, they're like, well, why would we? It's not broken. And I'm like, oh, I can't
The don't
live
fix
like
it ain't
this.
broken,
Because
yeah.
like, if I adapt to your way of thinking, then I'm going to just stay forever. And that's
Mm-hmm.
terrified me.
And it's not like, yes, don't fix what ain't broke. But what if we could add on top of that? Or what if we could expand that?
Or
It's like,
just
I'm not
continue
trying
to learn.
to learn and grow.
Yes,
So-
100%.
In that, with everything that we just said, what do you think was the most difficult thing you faced starting your business? What what was like the biggest challenge?
Two things. Actually, I'm going to say three. So I knew the finances would be a tough spot. That was really, really
Well,
hard.
yeah,
Like
for sure.
I did not have to check my bank account for so many years. I was just so comfortable. So learning to then budget and things like that and not being able to save for a while was tough. But the hardest thing for me was building my processes and
Okay.
my procedures, because I came from structure. Like, this is how I placed an order. This is how I sent it. I used to sell commercial furniture. So this is how I sent it to my interior designers. And this is how I worked with them. And now I was in control of that. And I have ADHD. So I want to do this and I want to do that. And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wait,
All
now
at the same time.
I sat
half
here.
done.
Yeah. A week went by and I didn't accomplish anything because I would start so many tasks. So I think the hardest part was creating like workflows and processes for myself and trying to automate so I could save time. So outside of the finances, which is a given, was definitely setting myself a schedule.
Yeah. I think a schedule is probably the most important thing if you're going to lean into any type of entrepreneurship or creation or influence or whatever it is you're doing. If you're investing as you as the product, trying to keep a routine is pretty important. I think
Yeah.
where I get a little lost is exactly in that. Being able to say no to things is a really hard thing. 'Cause I'm like, oh, I have all the free time in the world to get to it, but time is such a thief and it goes so quickly and you don't get that time back. So it's important to realize that just as much as I got so much free time that I didn't have before, I also need to not take that for granted, and I need to continue to block out office hours is what I call them. I'll block out a section on my calendar to be like, these are office hours, meaning this is editing, this is emails, these are my set office hours. I am not watching a stream or a YouTube video. I'm not watching TV or doing this. I block out my exercise for the week ahead of time.
Oh, I do that.
Have to do
That's
that.
number one.
Because to me, that is my priority.
Yeah.
As much as I want my businesses to thrive, the exercise for me is my priority, because if my body and mind don't feel good,
the rest is going to fail.
Yeah, there's no way I'm even going to be
100%.
able to dive into these other things.
Yep.
But I know it's really hard to hold yourself accountable.
I need to
Okay,
learn to
that's me.
take a day off. Yeah.
And I guess everyone's completely different, right?
And it's like,
I thrive under last minute pressure. And if I have to have this done by Saturday, I will stay up and do it all night in Friday, and it would be the best work you've ever seen. I thrive off of having a deadline that needs to be met, and I will always crush it.
oh yeah, I have to have a deadline. I tell people, I think I even said to you when
I
we were
procra- I
planning
can
stuff, I'm like, we
procrastinate.
need to set a date or else we won't do it. Like we
That's
need.
true. I do
Yeah.
book everything in advance, like
Yeah.
way in advance. Please don't ask me to hang out with you the same week, ever.
Yeah, no.
Ever.
We're type A.
'Cause I
We're
can't-
too type A
I'm
for
like-
that.
And it doesn't matter if I am available, because like half the reason, not half, majority of the reason why we made these decisions to have this flexible schedule is so
Yeah.
that I said Thursday was my rest day, and I meant all the way the rest day. If I tell myself today we're vegging because Wednesday was incredibly productive, right? I did my own exercise in the morning. I taught some classes. I went home. I did some editing, and I cleaned the house, because then I will feel no issue with doing nothing on Thursday.
And we're both Tauruses, so we know how to rot. We know how to rot.
I'm an incredible rotter.
Me too.
Like my husband constantly says his favorite thing to say to me is like, "You're the sleepiest girl I know."
yeah, I'm
I'm
a
like, what do you
Taurus.
mean? I
Feed
can
me and let me
sleep-
sleep, and I'm happy.
One, I can sleep anywhere. I
Same.
can sleep for any amount of time. But also, I am very productive, and I'm very organized, and I'm very planned out. And that's Taurus ADHD all wrapped up into one bubble,
All in one.
quite literally.
We're too
So-
stubborn to not be type A, but also we need our downtime. We need to recharge.
What were the other two struggles?
So the finances, the workflow, and
right.
then
last one.
I would say the taking time off.
The taking time off.
Yes, which I've gotten a lot better at, and I've learned. My husband, when he hears this, he's going to be so happy I gave him a shout out because he has been at me and he's like, "You got burned out in corporate America. You are going to
Right.
burn yourself out if you don't." So, and I always call him on Mondays when I take like 2 days off.
Yeah.
If I don't have a wedding that weekend, I'm like, I got so much done today because I just was so into it. He's like, "Yeah, because you took 2 days off." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I should do that more often."
And that's also really important. So if you are thinking about investing yourself, starting your own business or becoming a creator, which both are starting your own business, right? Whether you're the business
Yeah.
or you're starting a business of a different name, it can be in a whole different type of burnout, right? You start to experience this imposter syndrome. You start to feel
Yes.
this desire to do everything perfect, to
It's your
put out
baby.
tons of things. Yeah. And then to expand on that. And so that balance that you need to find is going to be so specific to you and your needs and your business and your business, but it's going to be so important to find it, figure out what it is, and attack it. You have to be able to give yourself the downtime that you need. If 5 people ask me for help and all day long I'm helping other people, but I don't do anything for myself, I'm going to run out of spoons to give and then have nothing left for myself. You have to be able to say no. That's something that I think for me was really hard in corporate America, and that's why I worked the way I did. Is
1000%.
I can do it, no problem, I could do it, and I'm not afraid to delegate tasks, but I am just like, I could just do it right now, and it's gonna be faster, and it's
You feel in your head, if I explain this to someone, then I just spent the same amount of time and I could have knocked it
it would
out.
have been done already.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's hard. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It took me a long time to learn a lot of these things, and I'm not perfect, and I'm not giving advice in a sense that I know everything. I'm the know-all, be-all. I think as millennial women, we have a
Yes.
lot of experience with things. It's a lot easier for us to give advice and explain things and discuss our experiences. But again, these experiences are our own, and we can only tell you what has or hasn't worked for us in hopes that you will at least understand where we're coming from and make decisions
Yeah.
for your own life that will help you, will help in some way, shape, or form.
And honestly, if I didn't reach burnout or go through learning workflows and procedures, I would have never gotten to where I'm at to then have more time or set things up. Really takes learning and diving in, like we're saying, like being in the field outside of a college. College can teach you these are the fundamentals, but the actual logistics of it, you're not figuring out until you fail or you try it or you see what works for you.
Oh, 100%.
And there is no playbook.
Correct. Yeah, you have to fail in order to be successful. And how many times you fail is going to be specific to you. Let me go back to what we were saying when I was like, hey, I don't want to have that regret of not at least trying. And then if it doesn't work out, then okay, we move forward. But I'm not going to allow 1 year of failure to determine it's not working out. Things take time. And yes, sometimes you're lucky. I'm going to air quote right now for lucky, because is it really luck, or is just how much you're putting yourself out there?
Yeah.
Right? And you just never know what's going to be the piece of content or marketing material that's going to take off.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You never know. And social media is such a valuable tool, and it's free, guys.
And it's free.
It's free.
Like
and
I
yes,
said,
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Let me tell you, like when I started, I would spend 4 hours trying to make reels. Now I finally have it down where I'm like, okay, you're not going to crash on me. I'm going to have this synced up. But that was a learning curve in itself just to make a freaking reel.
And sometimes less is more. I'll be so perfectly honest. When you are limited on time and you're still trying to figure things out for yourself and what works and doesn't work, start with simple videos and posts, and don't overthink it, and don't spend all week working on one single post. Again, there goes your time. So it less is more. Start small. Build.
Yeah. And one of the best advice from one of my mentors that I ever got, and it helped me so much because I would overthink, what am I going to post? What am I going to post? And she was like, you're just whispering into the internet. Do you know who you are compared to the internet? You are so tiny compared to this mass thing. Who cares?
Right.
Be you. Put it out there. If it doesn't work, no big deal. Archive it. Go on to the next thing.
Big deal.
You're literally whispering into it. So many times I hear creators saying, and I was there too, until my mentor helped me through that. And they're too afraid to post and they're nervous and stuff. And nobody's going home today and being like, did you see what Jennifer Silf photo did? Oh my God, cringe. Or if they did, cool, you're talking about me. Love
that part. Can we
Love
talk
it.
about that? You know how celebrities say there's no such thing as bad publicity?
There isn't.
There is if you are a really horrible person. Let's just
but don't get canceled.
Yeah, don't get canceled. I have never posted something and been like, oh, I hope no one from high school sees this. Or if this gets less than 100 likes, it's so embarrassing. I never think that. It's just so fun for me. And I promise you, the more you post, the less you start to care about it. It becomes easier and easier and easier. And the more you post, the more of a rhythm you get, and the more things will start to move. And then that makes you feel better. And that it's all relative. It's all about just getting started and not caring, because the caring part is what's really going to hold you back. And then you're going to see other people succeeding and you're going to say, well, they got lucky, or they have this, or it's because they're better at that. No.
Yeah.
It's simply because they're working at it.
Yeah.
Not because they're not talented, not because they're not, they don't have a good product or whatever it is they're putting out into the universe. It's the fact that they are putting it out into the universe. Nothing of yours can be perceived unless it's posted to be perceived. None of your products are being tested unless it's out there for people to test. None of your audio is being listened to unless it's out there to be listened to. All of this you have to put everything out into the universe and hope for the best. And guess what? One thing doesn't work. That's not the end. You just try something else.
I actually was having this conversation because my best friend just started her own company. And she started a florist company. And she's so talented. We've been pushing her for years to just go out and just embrace this natural born talent she has. And she had leftover flowers. And she was like, I don't know what to do. Do I make bouquets and try to sell them? But what if no one buys them? Well, no one's buying them if you don't put them out anyways.
Right,
if you don't ask, the answer is automatically no. So why not ask it?
I like that.
Right? Worst case, they tell you no to your face. But at least it's not just never trying it.
100%. I
Yeah.
agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
If you never took your leap of faith, you wouldn't be this many years into your business.
Let them tell you
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
and then maybe even just be like, "But are you sure?"
Right.
Like,
Right. Are you sure? You
yeah.
almost have to be a little bit annoying about it. You almost got to be like
Sometimes,
so
yeah.
unapologetically yourself.
Yup.
And just see where it takes you. Or
Yeah.
don't, but then don't be mad about it.
Also, guess what? She sold out all her flowers, and people are asking when she'll be selling them again next. I was like, "Is this a weekly thing?" She's like, "I think so."
I love that.
Right?
See, that's beautiful.
Exactly.
If you took the time, guys, to really just look into people who are in fields that are like-minded, like people who are like-minded to you, or people who are in fields that are similar to what you're interested in doing, and if you did your research, I bet you would find their start, like I said, which is my guilty pleasure. Go back and find their start, do some research on them. There's going to be failures. No one has ever been successful without that failure. So I think just
Yeah.
seeing people's stories and seeing how long it took them to get off the ground, or where they started from, what their journey was in general, I think you'd be so inspired to really make more moves if you really understood that no one just like woke up one day and was like, I had the top selling product or was the top selling creator. These things take time, and you know, the Mel Robbins, no one's coming to save you type of thing. I'm not too familiar with her stuff. I just know that she's incredible. I haven't really had the honor of listening to her
Me
podcast
neither.
or anything
I
like
just
that,
know
if
the
I'm being
name.
honest with you. But I know the name,
And I know they're
specifically
inspirational.
for that reason. But I believe that all the time. And that's something that I tell myself is no one's going to do it for you. If you want this to happen, then you just have to make it happen. And I just think that's so important. What do you feel like is the biggest piece of advice you can give to someone who is ready to start, let's say, a photography business specifically, since that is your realm? I know I put you on the spot.
That's tough. Okay, so when it comes to photography, know your gear, know
Okay.
your tools, because at the end of the day, sure, I can take a beautiful photo and anyone could, but it's the way I made my clients feel and the service that they experienced is truly what is going to keep my business afloat.
Oh, for
And
sure.
making sure that like client experience is your number one goal, and taking care of them and showing value. So I think that can stem into any degree too.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
I say all the time, I see people that are creative and they're talented and they can absolutely do amazing things, but they don't know how to run a business and have that client experience.
Yeah, running a business, right? There's so much to learn there. So many people own businesses that aren't business majors, right? They go
Yeah.
into business because they have a trade or something that they really enjoy. And so
And
learning
they're so talented.
the business end of things, it's important to really make sure you do your research before you dive into that end of it. For me specifically with like Barless and the taking the time was I need to mentally and physically feel ready.
Yeah.
But I had to also do a lot of testing. Okay, let me try it with this light or these lights, and let me try
Yes.
this camera. Okay, I didn't love that. Oh, okay, I had this microphone. You can hear me when the music's not on. When the music's on, I get a little drowned. And I kept going to the studio for a month and a half of not recording anything, getting no content, but still dragging all of my gear and setting everything up like I'm having a
You're
recording session,
learning.
just
Yeah.
to make sure I see and feel the experience and how it's going to be, you know, perceived when I do post it on
Yeah.
YouTube or on my website or anything like that. So I had to do a lot of trial and error, and it's tedious and it's exhausting and it's draining when this is the one. I think I got it all figured out, and then something else happens and there's another piece of the puzzle that's missing and needs to be fixed. And so if you're an impatient person, going into business for yourself is the
Yeah. You have to have patience.
Patience is a
Rome wasn't built
virtue
in a
that
day.
is really,
Yeah.
really required for these things. But anything's possible.
And I don't think you need to know it all. I've learned so many things. Every year, my goal is to teach myself a new hard technique
Okay.
that I can incorporate into a wedding day, whether that's direct flash or using a softbox or direct sunlight.
Yeah.
So every year I set that one new technique as a goal, and I take the whole year in my sessions to dabble it in and be learning it or taking time on the back end. So then next year I have that locked down after a year. And then the next year I can start my new whatever that goal is next.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
that, actually.
Yeah. So like you're not going to know it all, but having your building blocks is so important.
And we were talking before the segment, we were talking a little bit about editing in general. And listen, we are creative. So I will say this straight up. I don't agree with AI replacing art, right?
No.
I don't think that your cover photos, your models, we're using AI for everything. We're literally creating people for their merch, and just we're not hiring real people anymore to create this art, which it's really sad. One, and artists already have such a hard time being seen and being not just getting the recognition they deserve, but getting the pay that they deserve as is. So having like AI replace artists is really sad. And I always recommend, if you have anything that does require some kind of art, to try to really use human beings for these things. On the other end of it, I think that AI can be a really useful tool as far as being business savvy and working smart, like we were talking about earlier. So like for these shows, like I'm using AI to create my captions for me, and then there's still work that I have to do. Like I have to go back in and change some of the words. You know, when I was working on Noelle's episode, it kept changing her name to Noah. So AI is not perfect, which we know, which is why we need the humans to do the human things. But there's so many ways to go in and find new ways to edit, new ways to shorten the amount of work that you need to do, being really smart. So that's something that I'm playing with right now, is looking into different platforms that can make my life a little bit easier.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I have those too.
Because you just genuinely can't do everything by yourself. But we were talking about Barless, you know, a couple times throughout this episode, and Jen actually did the brand photography
So much fun
for Barless, which I absolutely love. Little shameless plug: if you go to YouTube and you look at the Barless link, there's one video up behind the scenes from that day, from that photo shoot, and I had some of my models who are absolutely stunning. They're just,
oh my god,
it's
all of them.
Every
all
single
of
one
you,
of them,
including yourself. Are you
listen,
kidding me? You girls were killing
drop
it.
dead gorgeous. But
So good.
it was such a fun shoot, and it was really nice to have people willing to be a part of a project that's brand new, that I'm starting from scratch. But I've seen Jen she's already thriving in this branding photography, and I'm really excited to see where you go out with that, because I know for me, she's my go-to for all of it. I mean, a text message in all caps.
I have an idea. What, when, where, why, where are we going?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like you're the
let's go.
person who gets where I'm at with this brain. But I just feel so free to be able to have all these different avenues, and to be able to have someone like you who is already been so successful in branching off and doing these things, and just having another creative in my
like a little
space.
Soundboard. It's just so nice. And I'm like, what if you did this idea or that? And then you're like, wait a second, but maybe this. Yeah.
I love it so much, and I'm really excited. And having you here on the podcast has been something that we've been looking forward to since the conversation that this was something that I wanted to do. So I've been very, very excited to record this episode, just because this started as a little seed that I planted in Jen's ear.
We did your brand photos originally for all of this in 2024. Like, talk about the timing. Like, and I was supposed to be launching House of Silden, and Yeah,
so we did it because basically when I hired Jen to be my wedding photographer, she had engagement photos in my package. And so we met in April of 2024 last year to do my engagement shoot, and I had planned to hire her for brand photos. Keep in mind, I lived in front of a camera, so I have a million photos of me. I've been in so many different photo shoots for just like regular modeling and dancing and everything. I have a million photos of me, but I wanted something that was just a fresh, like headshots, something just me in the new me, I should say, this version of myself, because I've shed so many of those other versions. And so I had hired Jen to do my brand shoot with the intention to start this podcast literally a month later. So we're talking about like May 2024 that I had planned to originally launch this podcast. And I played with some cover art. I started creating some. It felt good, but it just didn't feel right. And when I tell you that I spent a year and a half creating this vision and getting this room that we're in right now has changed a million times.
Yeah.
It just nothing felt right. And again, I wasn't waiting for it to be 100%. I was waiting until it felt like, today's
the day. Sometimes you just wake up and done. Sending it. Yeah.
And so there was just one day that I woke up this year, and a big part of it being when I made the decision to leave corporate America. And I was like, if I'm going to dive into doing, being a creator again in some aspect, and I thought I'm going to just do the fitness creative. And I'm like, no, I'm going to bring the podcast in, because I feel, whether it makes sense to everyone or not, I feel like starting Barless, which if anyone's You've heard me say Barless a couple times. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's going to be an online program. And the idea of Barless is to not have any bars at all. It's about holding your center balance and really believing in yourself and strengthening the mind and the body together, and knowing that you don't need the help of the bar or the chair. And so that's where the mental strength comes into play. And a lot of our mental strength is the topics that we're talking about today. So before you even enter that space to do that workout, like how you're feeling on a day to day about yourself, about your home, about your space, the people that you surround yourself with, the beliefs that you have in yourself, and those that are in your corner, in your circle. And we're really going to hit some tough conversations in this space on this podcast that I think are things that people need to hear, and conversations that also, if you guys have anything that you'd like me to touch on, you can always leave that in the comments, reach out to me, email me. I would love to touch on conversations that you want me to have, because like I said, 37 years of life, I have the experience and the understanding of not just the world around me, but the world as a creator, as a business manager. So
you understand that client experience like I was talking about.
Yeah,
you get it.
I always put myself in the eyes and the ears of a client, because I've been trained to do that for a really long time. You know, I've over 20 years in the dance and fitness industry. So as not just like a performer or a trainer, but as an actual manager working in customer service and delivering goods and services. I believe that the podcast goes hand in hand with my Barless business,
100%.
Even though they're different. And there's going to be people who consume the podcast and not the bar content, and there's going to be people who consume the bar content and not the podcast. But
there's going to be people that do both.
There are going to be people that do both. And so for me, it's about you getting to know me as an educator in very different ways, both mentally and physically, because I fully believe that they go hand in hand, and you cannot have one conditioned without doing the other. It's really hard to have a strong body without a strong mind, and it's really hard to have a strong mind without a strong body to support it.
Yeah.
What that physically looks like is going to be different for everybody. I don't think that there is a certain look specifically that your body needs to have to have a strong body. It's about what you can put yourself through, what you're willing to endure.
Yeah. And like going off of what you're saying with everything, I mean, I personally
love a tangent. Sorry, guys. I love a tangent.
Personally, my workouts are my time to shut my brain off.
But your brain is on overload during them.
It's on overload because I'm working out, but because my brain needed such a mental rest that my workouts, they're hard as shit, but they feel good because I needed something to not be a mental exhaustion.
Yeah. You're shutting your work brain on, and you have a singular focus, and that's getting through the workout.
And I lock my phone away. I don't look at anything. Like all I am is just like with my workout and my music, and that's it. And it literally has changed my life by incorporating a workout routine where I can just shut off the everyday. I don't even think I think through them.
So something I say in every class that I teach is, listen, I want you to push yourselves. I don't want you to overexert yourself. Those are two very different things. So if you need breaks, and I always say need being the key word, need. If you need a break, which are going to be less frequently than you believe them to be, then take them. Please drink the water. You are pushing your body to do incredible things, so that fatigue is going to cause you to need to take a second. I'm not going to know when that is. My job is to push you to get to that point. My point is to push you to need the breaks, right? But I'm not inside your body. I cannot feel what you are feeling. I can only guide you through my experience of what I know. I'm checking your form. I'm checking your pace. I'm looking into your eyes, making sure you're not ready to pass out, you know? So like I am keeping you on point as far as how it's supposed to be done, but only you can feel what you're feeling. And I'm here to educate you and train you, but I need you to then listen to your own body and respond and do the things that it needs. Hydrate, take the breaks. But I also am going to say in these classes, give me one more. Your mind is such an incredibly strong and powerful tool. Yeah. Your body is capable of doing some things that you couldn't even fathom. Hello, the body.
And then you get like a little dopamine from being like, oh my God, I did it.
Do you know how many times I've asked a client to hit one more and then they end up hitting two more just for shits and gigs? And I love that. The body is an incredible vessel, but we only have one. You only have one life with one body, and it's your responsibility to take care of it.
And it makes your brain feel better.
Yes.
Like by
Yes.
moving and things like that,
Mhm.
like so easily you can fall. It's very easy to fall into like a stagnant, depressive state.
For sure.
And also just like when you're getting up and moving, like they even say, like if you have a big test that day or a big meeting, you should move first thing in the morning because it's going to make you think more cognitively.
Steven, my husband, he works from home. He's a software engineer, so he just tippity taps on the computer all day long. He's just pressing buttons. He can't fool me.
He's very
just,
intelligent.
he's
We'll give
very-
Steven his
but
flowers.
he's pressing a bunch of buttons all day long. That man gets up at 5 a.m. every single morning and walks for an hour every day,
Good for him.
like clockwork, without an alarm.
Okay. Yep. See? Yep.
I don't understand that part. There needs to be a study done on
pres-
but he just wakes up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
every single day, goes for his walk for an hour, comes home, then sits in his chair. He does his work, and then at 11:30 every single day, goes down into the basement and lifts.
Good for him.
Every single day. And I mean, he looks good, but like, you know what I mean? But it feels good. But he needs, because he's sitting so much of his day and he works like 10-hour days, he's got to get that movement in. I need it to be understood. I am a wellness professional, right? So a lot of the things I'm saying is as someone who is trained to train you and tell you about moving your body. I understand there is chronic pain. There are situations in which you can't heavy lift or you can't do a Pilates class. You don't have to do that type of exercise. Finding deep breaths, standing up and every hour versus sitting all day long. Movement is different for everyone, but finding some kind of movement the best way you can. Maybe a change of scenery, like putting yourself outside and deep inhales and just
Being in nature.
For this show in general, and like I've told you this, like I want to touch on all these topics. I want to know what you guys want to hear. I want to make sure that we are helping people reach their full capacity and be the best version of themselves. So like I said, anything, lifestyle, business, content.
I think one of the biggest things that you touched on is don't compare your journey to others.
No,
because we're all on our own paths and we all start somewhere. And imposter syndrome is such a bitch, which we're all going to have. Everybody has it. I don't care who you are. But if you can shut that off and be like, no, this is what I want to do and this is the direction I'm going, people are going to believe in you when you believe in yourself.
The phrase fake it till you make it. I don't want you to fake your experience and your knowledge, your skills, your knowledge. But if you have those things,
it's like manifesting.
And you want something, you need to start living like you already have it. Like the business is already successful. Like this podcast for me already has 1 million followers and listeners, and we are doing in-person TED Talks. And to me, of course, that's possible. Why wouldn't that be possible? The imposter syndrome, I don't really have that. I'll be perfectly honest. I mean, everyone gets it. I used to have it. So don't get me wrong. It's not like, not me. It couldn't be me. I have had imposter syndrome in my life. But I am so delulu. Like, I'm crazy. Like, you can't tell me I can't do anything. Do I have moments of doubt?
Oh, yeah.
Sure. But in the long run, I'm not like, no, I can't do this anymore. This isn't going to work. I fully believe in my power, in my presence, in my ability to mentor, my ability to speak to a room, and my ability to create the content that gets all of that information out and allows me to do those things. I'm not a little girl anymore. I'm not a teenager. I'm not a young something in my 20s. And I think
you're a baddie.
I'm girl.
Get it, girl. Get it. Get it. Get it.
But like, it took so long. I probably wasn't even this confident in myself till like 35, which is only 2 years ago, guys. You have to keep shedding versions of yourself and adapting. And there's going to be things that you keep about you. Yeah. There's going to be things that you're going to keep doing that you've been doing your whole life. And there's going to be things that you only did for a year.
Yeah.
Or, and if you're interested, try it. Try everything, regret nothing.
If teenage Jen met 34-year-old Jen, we would be like, who are you? I'm polar opposite, but also still love her and love where I'm going. Just try it and see where it goes and you'll find out new things.
Yeah. And for me, let me say this. This is for every millennial. It's not even going to be for me specifically. For every millennial that I've ever talked to, the 30s are your best time.
Oh,
Your
I'm
30s is
obsessed.
when you're supposed to figure it out.
Yes.
Trend on social media being like, I'm turning 25 and I'm crying because X, Y, and Z. Babe, you
Bless.
are just so sweet and adorable.
Your brain just developed.
Right.
Congratulations.
You are not going to have everything figured out by 30. And even if you think you do, it's going to change again in 2 years, in 3 years, in 4.
Yeah.
You are allowed to stop and start as many times as you need. You can reinvent yourself as many times as you like. And that's going to happen at multiple ages. There are going to be friendships, relationships, and versions of yourself that you are going to mourn, but are going to feel like a weight has been lifted once they've
Yeah.
been removed from your life. And you can only grow by that happening, by those experiences and people coming in and out of your life. Because if you are just genuinely in the same spot, doing the same thing with the exact same people, your entire life there, that means that you are just walking one straight
It's like
line.
Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, like you are just walking one straight line. There's no climb. And so unfortunately, to climb, to be better, to be the best version of yourself, you sometimes have to leave people behind. And
Facts.
it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely okay.
Facts.
So with that being said,
Yeah.
I'm so appreciative that you came here.
I'm
and
thankful
spent
you
this time with
invited
me
me.
today. But I want you to just list off your businesses and your tags so people know where to find you and all that jazz.
Okay, amazing. So my photography business is Jennifer Sill Photography. Sill is spelled S as in Sam, Y-L, short for Sylvia. So Jennifer Sill Photo is where you can find me on all handles, Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And then my new business I'm starting, which should be launched this winter, is House of Sill. And it's spelled Haus, like German house. We want it to feel high fashion. We want it to feel agency-like.
I love it so much.
Yeah, House of Sill will be my little branding agency. So follow along there too.
I'm so pumped. I'm very excited for that. So, guys, make sure you go and give Jen a follow on both of her business platforms. I'm very excited to see your continued success. Like I said, you are like a mentor to me. I'm always so happy and to see you thrive because it gives me inspiration and passion and just fills me with so much joy. Just because I love to see my friends win. And
Ditto.
so it inspires
We're
me
girls,
to win.
girls. We're
Girls. So I just love you and I appreciate you coming in. And I can't wait till the next time we can do this. So
Likewise.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.